In 1 Kings chapter 21, the story shifts to a deeply personal and troubling event during the reign of King Ahab in Samaria. Near the palace, in Jezreel, there is a vineyard belonging to a man named Naboth. The land lies close to Ahab's residence, and the king desires it, so he can turn it into a vegetable garden. Ahab approaches Naboth with an offer. He proposes to exchange the vineyard for a better one or to pay for it at full value. But Naboth refuses. He tells the king that he cannot give away the inheritance of his ancestors, a possession that is part of his family's heritage under the law of Israel. Ahab returns to his palace sullen and angry. He lies on his bed, turns his face away, and refuses to eat. When Queen Jezebel sees his condition, she asks what is wrong. Ahab explains that Naboth has refused to give him the vineyard. Jezebel responds with determination. She questions Ahab's authority, asking if he truly rules over Israel. Then she takes matters into her own hands. Using Ahab's name and royal seal, she writes letters to the elders and nobles in Jezreel, instructing them to proclaim a fast and seat Naboth in a prominent place among the people. She commands that 2 wicked men be brought forward to accuse Naboth of cursing God and the king. Following her instructions, the leaders carry out the plan. False witnesses testify against Naboth, and he is taken outside the city and stoned to death. Once Naboth is dead, Jezebel tells Ahab to take possession of the vineyard. Ahab goes down to Jezreel and takes ownership of the land without resistance. But the Lord sees everything. The word of the Lord comes to Elijah the Tishbite, instructing him to go and confront Ahab. Elijah meets the king in the vineyard that once belonged to Naboth. When Ahab sees Elijah, he asks, "Have you found me, my enemy?" Elijah answers that he has found him because Ahab has sold himself to do evil in the eyes of the Lord. Elijah delivers a message of judgment. He declares that disaster will come upon Ahab's house. Every male in his family will be cut off, and his house will become like the house of Jeroboam and Baasha, whom God had already judged. Elijah also speaks directly about Jezebel. He declares that dogs will devour Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. As for Ahab's family, those who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, and those who die in the country will be eaten by birds. The chapter pauses to reflect on Ahab's actions, noting that no one had sold himself to do evil like Ahab, especially under the influence of Jezebel. He followed idols and behaved in ways that provoked the Lord. Yet, when Ahab hears these words, something unexpected happens. He tears his clothes, puts on sackcloth, and fasts. He lies in sackcloth and goes about humbly. Seeing this, the word of the Lord comes to Elijah again. God acknowledges Ahab's humility and says that because he has humbled himself, the disaster will not come during his lifetime, but in the days of his son. This chapter marks a powerful turning point. It reveals how abuse of power and injustice lead to judgment, but it also shows that even a king like Ahab can humble himself before God and delay the consequences. Next comes 1 Kings chapter 22, where Ahab faces one final battle, and the word of the Lord is fulfilled.